This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 125 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
I know school is out, but the Skywalker summer school has now begun.
Ooh. And then I'll take Tinkerbell into the toy box, and I'll give her a lightsaber, and I'll go vroom, vroom, vroom.
Meeting Mark Hamill at Celebration. That is probably the greatest part of my life ever.
This is kind of my ode to Star Wars and Mad Men.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hello, Skywalkers.
Listen!
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
Wow, oh, what?
You are skywalking through Neverland.
Hey, Skywalkers! Welcome to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We are the family-friendly Disney and Star Wars podcast that brings you entertaining stories from creators and fans. And a big thank you to our family of Skywalkers who are joining us each and every week on our adventure through fandom. I am Richard, and now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who just got the Finding Dory Disney Infinity playset, so I'm going to be a video game widower again.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I haven't broken into that playset yet because we just got it yesterday. We were pretty busy, so I haven't been able to break into it, and I am finishing up Downton Abbey. So I kind of have to finish season 6 of Downton Abbey, and then I will get into the playset.
Not only will I be a video game widower, but all the people on social media will be social media widowers because you won't be around. You'll be playing Finding Dory. You'll be trying to find Dory.
No, because whenever I play my playsets, sometimes I'll post a video on Instagram and say, "Look at my Dory," and then I'll take Tinkerbell into the toy box, and I'll give her a lightsaber, and I'll go vroom, 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 and I'll post that video too, and it's really fun. And I definitely play more video games.
The only one who's
Chris.
being really left out is me. But then again,
no.
while you're playing, I'll be editing.
Yeah,
so no one's left out.
Right, all our Skywalkers will benefit from me playing Disney Infinity.
Right, see?
That's how this works.
Already, I feel better about this.
Me too.
Going into this, I was feeling kind of hesitant because I didn't want to bring it up, but glad we did. Now we can move forward.
It's true.
So it looks like I owe each and every one of these Skywalkers out there $300 for this therapy session.
Well, speaking of the Skywalkers, I want to thank every one of you for supporting this show throughout all of social media. You are officially part of our Skywalker family. So please tweet at us while you're listening at SkywalkingPod. You will officially be a tweetwalker. Those of you who are watching on Periscope right now, we love it, and you guys are commenting and liking, and it's so cool, and Go Mouse Scout says, happy to do it. You guys are awesome. See? It's so cool. So I really love that, and you know what? We also might do a secret contest, which means if you're sharing this show on Facebook, we might do a drawing next week. Maybe.
Another drawing.
Secret drawing.
Yeah, as you saw in the beginning, before we started recording our podcast, we showed everyone our closet full of merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
With only more merchandise on its way with all the press conferences that we're going. And when the studios give us things, we pass it along to you.
Yes.
So, you know what? Reiterate that contest one more time.
Okay, so next week, we're going to be looking at all the shares of our pinned Facebook post on our Facebook page of this episode. And we'll see if you guys shared it a lot, we might do a drawing and give someone a prize, including a button.
Well, define a lot. Like anything, last time we did 25. This time, let's bump it up to 28.
No, I think we should do 40. 40 shares.
Oh, are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Okay, let's up the ante. All right. Someone says up the ante, so 40 it is.
40 shares.
That's not too hard.
Okay.
Someone says 50.
50.
Do I hear 52? 52 shares. A scope walkers say 45, then they said 50. Do I hear 52? Do I hear 60? Do I hear 60? 100. I hear 100 shares. All right. I need a gavel. 100 shares.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let's cut it at that. That's pretty lofty. But we're gonna go with 100 shares, which isn't that hard. Because what do you gotta do? Just press a button.
Yeah, and just share it.
101's a little too rich for our blood, so we're gonna go with 100 shares.
Okay.
It's all about giving to the Skywalker, the Skywalking family.
Yeah.
All right, now on with the show. We are recording this from Long Beach, California on June the 21st, 2016. Now, coming up on this episode, we will talk to Adam Harris, the man who, after hearing from doctors that he had a brain tumor, decided to fulfill his destiny of making a Star Wars film, and after 15 months of shooting, my Saga, a Star Wars documentary, a Star Wars fan documentary, is finally in the editing bay.
Now, we'll also be talking with artist Jason Christmann, who is debuting another great piece of artwork for Star Wars Celebration Europe. Now, if you recall, he had the Millennium Falcon for Hire print that was very Mad Men inspired at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. So this print, if you've seen the Star Wars Celebration Europe website, you can look at his print.
You know what? And I was told by Jason that we'd be getting a print to give away to a Skywalker.
Oh, that's right.
And the print is really nice.
It is.
You don't even have to go all the way over to Europe to get it.
No.
All you gotta do is share.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, also, we have shout-outs, a very special Skywalker of the Week, a Skywalker story from our new Facebook admin, Patty Hammond.
And now, to kick things off, let's hear this jingle that sticks in my head every week.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
So for things we want to share this week, we are talking things you want to share. That's right. We want to hear from you, Skywalkers.
Now, you have been doing gangbusters and sending in your Skywalker stories, but they're so good, we want to hear more.
Yes.
So what story from your fandom gets you really excited or emotional as you tell it? What is the story you would love to share with a family of Skywalkers out there? Let us know. Something that gets you really, really excited to tell.
Yes, please email us in a summary of that story to share at skywalkingthroughneverland.com. Also, we want to hear about some of the smaller moments too. So ever just want to share a random moment? Are you at a Disney park meeting your favorite character?
When you're meeting your favorite character,
yes.
Like what we did with Chewbacca and Kylo Ren, we switched the voice memo on
our
and recorded our meeting with these characters, and it was so much fun, and we played it, and the listeners loved to hear that because it was like a true unscripted moment. So
right.
If you're going to a Disney park and you're meeting someone, flip on your voice memo and record it and send it in to us.
That's right.
The smaller moments.
Yeah.
We can play like a minute or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We love hearing that. Or if you just had something happen, like a little piece of Disney magic, or
maybe you want to tell us that Secret Squirrel's security squad just hassled you because you brought in an item over $600. Well, you know what? Record that little story and send it to us.
Yeah.
Or maybe your little one just wants to wish everyone a Neverland on Alderaan. Maybe you have a Star Wars or Disney-themed clean joke you want to share.
Oh, yeah. Or like your kid would like to say their joke. You know, that's something you could record, just a little voice memo on your phone, and then you just tap the share button and email that to share at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Maybe your little one has got a little review of the show, something they want to tell us. Just
or,
the little moments.
What about a quick question too?
Oh, or if you have a quick question about anything in particular, we're here for you. Challenge accepted, someone said.
Go Mouse Scouts.
All right. So once again, they can either go to SpeakPipe on our website.
Right. Or it's so much easier just to go to your phone and record that voice memo.
Yeah, then they can email it, right? Because I've never tried that. Okay, an email.
Yes.
Like a moment that's 30 seconds to a minute to maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would say about 2 minutes.
Yeah,
We're going to use
moments.
these as like little transitions between segments. So.
And I can't wait to hear what you people have to tell us.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't enough involvement from you Skywalkers, we also want to hear how you can sing a jingle.
A jingle.
A jingle.
Well, you know what this means? We want to include all of you Skywalkers in our upcoming Skywalking Through Neverland Awesome Jingle Mix Volume 1 by Rob Dellinger.
Now, we all have those favorite jingles that we sing all throughout the week, such as...
Shout-outs, Skywalker shout-outs. Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Skywalking through classic Marvel. Neverland on Alderaan.
Now, we want you to record yourself singing your favorite jingle. And if you need to listen to the jingle as you're doing it, put on a pair of headphones.
Right.
That way we just hear your voice and not the pre-recorded track behind you.
Yes. Yeah, and you can do it maybe as a family group if you all want to sing together and record together.
Harmonizing.
Ooh.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. And then we're going to string all of the best bits into one big, awesome super jingle.
Super bonus track.
Yes.
On this awesome jingle mix volume 1.
Yeah, so to reiterate, Rob Dellinger, he's putting together all of the favorite Skywalking Through Neverland jingles, and he's going to release them as a awesome jingle mix volume 1.
Right, on
CD
iTunes.
and on iTunes.
CD Baby, I think.
Yeah, this is something that the Skywalkers kept asking for. Wasn't sure if it was a joke or not, but hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so we're working on it now, and we want your help. So once again, do that same thing. Record yourselves with a voice memo on your phone, record a group of you singing, and then email that in to share at skywalkingthroughneverland.com. Michael Nip asks if he can record on an 8-track.
Please record on an 8-track. That would be maybe a reel-to-reel, whatever you have. We're not limiting you to any kind of medium, whatever you got, okay?
Okay.
Maybe an aluminum cylinder.
Yes.
That's going way, way back. But you audiophiles know what I'm talking about. All right, so have we made that clear?
I don't know. Let's ask our scope walkers. Is that clear?
Everything clear there? That fully understandable? Because we need all of these by, I want to say, mid-July, which is just a couple of weeks, really.
Yes, in 2 weeks.
Okay. Because we want to get this out by at least the end of the summer.
Okay. All right. Yes.
So you have homework, Skywalkers.
Yes.
I know school is out, but the Skywalker Summer School has now begun.
Ooh. Well, don't call it that. The Skywalking Singing School has now begun. How about
with all the other recordings.
Oh, right.
So they get homework. Sometimes homework can be fun.
It's true. Okay, make this fun.
Yes, and.
Okay, yes. And.
All right.
And what's next?
Email them in.
Yep. Share at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Go, you Singwalkers, go. I can't take credit for that. Someone just posted that, but the name is fading away.
Oh.
All right. Someone just posted the
Sky Singers. Ooh, I like that.
Sky Singers. I like that too.
I want that as like a last name. That's a cool.
Sky Singer.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I know.
Write that down somewhere. So that will wrap up things we want to share. And now let's talk with Adam Harris of My Saga, a Star Wars fan documentary.
My name is Adam Harris. I'm a husband, a father, and a Star Wars fan. 4 years ago, I was left with an uncertain future when doctors told me I have a brain tumor. This has spurred me on to live out my dreams. So along with my son Jack, I'm going to discover what being a Star Wars fan really means.
That sort of feeling again, that excitement.
There's so much that you can be a part of, and everybody loves each other.
It was a universe I felt safe in.
Gabe's journey started when he was about 6 months old. He was diagnosed with tuberous sclerosis complex, which is a disease that causes tumors to grow in the body.
Maybe that's why this means so much for you.
It does. It really does.
I want to tell them they're not alone. There's a world of people who've been through it and have come out the other end and survived it. You think is that a good message?
Adam Harris was on top of the world with a loving family and an enthusiastic love for Star Wars. Then one fateful visit to the hospital changed everything.
Adam is here now to tell us how his story led into My Saga, a Star Wars fan documentary.
Hey, Adam.
Hello, all the way from Australia.
Yeah, you're tomorrow right now.
That's right.
That's
we're
so
in the
crazy.
future.
Yeah, it's like 17 hours. It's so crazy to think about.
That's right. We already know who Rey's parents are. That's how far in the future we are.
Okay, We'll stop recording. All right. Who's Ray's parents?
No, I can't tell you that. No, I can't. No, sorry. No, I can't say.
You must know Eliza Peralta.
We might have to stop this recording. Too many secrets will be let out.
Yep.
Well, I got to ask you the first question here. So, how you feeling?
Look, feeling well. And, of course, my journey began with a bit of a scare. And that scare happened actually when my second child was born. So it was the week when Eloise was born back in 2010. And I was rushed to hospital a few days later. And it was discovered I'd had a hemorrhage in my brain. And upon that, they found I had a very small tumor in the back of my brain. So for many years, I had scans, tests, prodded, poked, and all that sort of stuff. And I'm very happy to say now that I'm very well. I still live with the tumor. It is too dangerous to take out where it's positioned, but I live quite comfortably. I'm a very healthy person and very happy.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, that's always great to hear. Because when I first heard your story, I thought, oh no, he's only got so much time to do so much. And with so many Star Wars films coming, oh no, I almost didn't want to bring that up.
Well, look, it's a scary process, and I'm a very lucky person. I know there are many out there, and we all know Daniel's story with The Force Awakens over the last 12 months.
Daniel Fleetwood?
Daniel Fleetwood, yes, and but I was one of the lucky few, and but it was scary, and there were a lot of things that went through my brain that I wasn't going to experience with my children. And at the time, Jack was only 1, and Eloise was new on the scene, and Sam wasn't even thought of, my third child. And of course, that fateful morning when George and Disney announced to the world, "Guess what? We've got Lucasfilm, and we're going to make Star Wars movies." I leapt out of bed. I nearly ran into the wall. I was that excited. And I rushed into my son's room and sort of said, Jack, oh my goodness, we're going to see Star Wars. We're going to do this. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. And he just sat there and goes, Daddy, I'm asleep. I just want to go back to bed. So, because it was about 6 a.m, of course. And, but yeah, and then over that time period, I thought, well, I wanted to document my journey and between a father and son and the Star Wars experience. And that's when my saga was born.
Oh. Yeah, let's go back a couple of years to the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
And let's talk about your initial fandom and where did it start and how did it start? And let us know why Star Wars is so personal to you.
Well, the only experience I had as a very small child was watching Star Wars and Empire on a little 30-centimeter TV on Betamax tape. And it was late 1983. Australia got Return of the Jedi probably about 5-6 months later than the US. And my father took me to my first ever movie at a cinema, and it happened to be Return of the Jedi. So I remember walking into the theater. It was in my hometown in the city. And we walked into that theater. I can still remember the smell of the popcorn, walking up the stairs to the cinema and sitting in there. And it was one of those old classic style theaters with the beautiful red velvet curtains and the beautiful old heritage style fixtures all around you. And I was just dazzled with what I saw on the screen. And, I cried when Yoda died. I cried when Anakin died. Spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen it. And it just hit me that I wanted to be Luke. I wanted to go on that journey. I wanted to be the hero. And throughout the years in those 80s, my life was a bit up and down. I had very young parents. And of course, there were a lot of good and bad things happening. And Star Wars was my escapism. It was that world that I could go to and be myself and be who I wanted to be and believe in myself. And ever since then, I've just been hooked. I just love the story. I love the characters. And I try to use some of the good moral things out of Star Wars in my everyday life. And, of course, the one thing I dreamt of was replicating that moment with my father, because it was one of the happiest memories of my life to experience something like that with him. And when I saw Revenge of the Sith, I had just met my now wife at the time. And I took her to the movie, and I remember crying at the end when Obi-Wan hands over baby Luke to Baru. And I was like going, my goodness, I'm never going to have this experience with a child. This is it. George has said there's no more. And I felt really somber when I walked out. I was happy with what had happened. And of course, I try to not push Star Wars on my children. I let them explore it and discover it for themselves. And, they made the right choice, which is fantastic. And from then on in, but Star Wars has just played a major part in my life. And of course, with what happened with me, Star Wars was, besides my family, which of course was my number one thing, but Star Wars was the thing that got me through those really dark times.
When you saw Return of the Jedi with your dad, how old were you?
I was 4.
Oh, wow.
I was 4 years old. I can still remember it though. I was very close to 5 because my birthday's in February and it was late December when I saw it. And but I can still remember because it was a hot summer day, having to walk probably about, I don't know, maybe an hour to walk into the city, and just getting there and being exhausted, but just walking into that theater. And like I say, I can still remember how the popcorn smelt on that day. I know that I had like an orange soda drink with my popcorn, and then I remember after that I went to a place called Hungry Jack's, which is equivalent to your Burger King, and getting Return of the Jedi glass set.
Whoa.
So I still own, and they're just to the right of me here in my room, my 4 Return of the Jedi glasses set that I got from that day. So I still have them here with me. So
there's the Luke and Vader, there's the Jabba,
yes.
And there's the Ewok,
and there's the Han Solo in the bunker.
That's right. Yeah, when he's kneeling down.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I still own those.
Well, it's great that you have them right there in your office as kind of like a bridge to your childhood.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got many of those in my office right here.
Yeah, you do.
Now, when talking with your kids, what kind of morals and mores do you pass along to them that you had learned from Star Wars?
I think you've got to have a belief in yourself, that you must treat everyone equal, not to judge. Size matters not, as Yoda would say. But more so, it's that belief in oneself, that you don't put down anyone for trying to do something or live a dream. And you can become whoever you want to be, and no one can judge you for that. And I think that's Star Wars' biggest message is that, you may be stuck somewhere, but everyone has a greatness in them, and you just have to believe in yourself, and you will become the person you're meant to be, just like Luke was. And I think that's the biggest thing I try to instill in my children.
Do they know all this comes from Star Wars, or are you taking credit for it?
I think Jack does. He's at that age now that he knows that I've pinched some things from Star Wars. Eloise, she's starting to cotton on a little bit, but she's become very fascinated with Rey, of course, and that's a wonderful thing that has happened in the Star Wars universe, and I'm so happy and proud as a father that Disney have taken an approach with strong female characters, and once again setting a benchmark in cinema, which has not happened, and it's fantastic to see that.
That's awesome. Fantastic when you can share so much with your kids, especially with all the new stuff that is coming out, and especially how it's all Disney branded. That it's just it just screams father and son and family.
Yes, and empty wallets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you done anything with Eloise? Like, I know you talk about your father and son thing, but if she's into it.
Well, she's not as into it as us, but her first cinema experience was The Force Awakens. So on the day it was released here in Australia, Jack and I, of course, we were filming our final day of my saga. And then that afternoon, I shared an experience with Eloise and Jack. And of course, she asked, I said, what would you like for Christmas? And she wanted the Rey costume. So I got her that. Yay. And we got her some cute Star Wars jammies, and she got a Rey bobblehead. So I just asked her what she wanted, and that's sort of what she got. So, but she'll every now and again go, oh, Daddy, is Rey going to be in the next one? Is Rey going to have a different outfit? And she'll be there, and like she'll fight Jack because Jack's got a Kylo Ren outfit, and she'll be like, I can beat you, I can get you, I'm stronger than you. And it's just wonderful to see her play and interact in that manner. So, but she's also wrapped up in Frozen. She just
nice.
What girl? I'm wrapped up in Frozen. But every girl in the world is, I think.
Well, now that you are a little bit ahead of us because of the time difference, how is Star Wars Episode 8, and how many times have you seen it?
Look, I've seen it about 20 times.
Wow. No spoilers, no spoilers.
Look, I was a bit shocked. Luke is Lando. I just didn't see it.
And you can send all your hate mail to Adam Harris, care of. No, you know what? You just touched on your film, My Saga. Let's talk about that and how it started and why it started and what your main theme and focus of it is.
Well, it started, of course, when Disney announced that they owned Lucasfilm. So that morning, the idea sprung to mind. And at the time, I was writing a feature film script, and that had stemmed from a short film I did. And I busted a trailer out onto Twitter, and I used Twitter as my media. I'd never used Twitter before. And I had David Arquette contact me via Twitter and say, this teaser for this short film, it's amazing. Where do you live? And I said, Australia. And he's like, okay. And then David Arquette and I got into contact via email. He put me in contact with some producers, and they asked me to write a feature film script. So I was doing that at the time, and this sort of popped in my mind as a side project, and I ended up traveling around with the script and then ended up putting it to the side and focusing on this. And, of course, we went through Kickstarter with crowdfunding and all that sort. And I got to film in the foyer of the original cinema I went and saw Return of the Jedi at. It had actually been demolished, and the only thing that was left was the main entry foyer. And I got to film in that, and then about 2 days after that, it was demolished. So it was a very touching and nice thing that they allowed me to do, and there were a few tears, but being able to do that for my Kickstarter video was something quite special. And of course, we were successful, and then of course we started to plan it out. But what I wanted to do originally was to have the father-son journey and to discover the generational bonds between family members and friends and the like with regards to what Star Wars means to them. And as the journey progressed, as we were filming, I found it more to do with not just Jack and myself, but more so just myself and the trials of being a father and a parent, and some of the struggles I've had to deal with in my life, and how Star Wars has developed me into the person I am today. So, we wanted to find out what Star Wars meant to people, meant to the fans, meant to the people who worked on it behind the scenes. Like, we got to speak to some amazing people who worked on the films or work with Lucasfilm, and we wanted to know how they were introduced to it and what it means to them. And some of the stories were quite they really hit home for me. There were a few tears shed when I interviewed some of the celebrities. It was pretty tough.
A few tears shed by you or them?
Me. I nearly made Perry King cry because I was crying, and but yeah, hearing those stories was quite amazing. At the time there were a few things I was told about Episode 7 that no one knew, with regards to the inner workings and behind the scenes that a lot of people do know now. When I interviewed Charlie Bailey, who was one of the ILM model makers, and he was my second interview, and this was before Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. And he had told us in the interview that himself and, of course, a lot of the ILM guys were pulled aside by Disney at the time and asked about, practical effects and digital effects and would they work and integrate. And he explained, he didn't go into details with regards to the meeting, but it was something that was sort of unknown at the time. And that was a really lovely thing for Charlie to share to us. I was like, my goodness, Disney are taking this seriously with Episode 7. They want to go back to practical and integrate digital, and they really want to make the best film out there. And of course, we know now how good it is. So
did you see Charlie Bailey at Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, or did you see him?
No. I saw him in San Francisco at his house. I got to visit his house, which was amazing because he had a lot of the old ILM model shop machinery in his garage.
Oh, wow.
But there's something, and I wish I could show you, but after we interviewed him, he pulled out a couple of silicon molds that he'd taken as a memento when he worked at ILM, and one of them was the smallest model used of the Millennium Falcon in The Empire Strikes Back, which is in the scene where it's attached to the back of the Star Destroyer when they're hiding. And he had a couple of resin casts from that mold that he makes every now and again, and they were sitting on the desk, and I asked him what it was, and he goes, well, they're molds from that cast, and this is the original cast that was used for Empire Strikes Back. And he said, would you like a casting from that mold? So I have one and Jack have one.
When someone asks you if you are a god, you say yes.
That's right. One signed for Jack, and I didn't get my signed. But not only did I get that from Charlie, I managed to snag off him. He had a couple of posters there. He had one of the original Revenge of the Jedi posters, and I managed to snag that off him as well.
Whoa.
Whoa. But yeah, that was once again, that was a fantastic talk. Charlie went into depths with regards to the model shop and the inner workings there, and how, like, the big thing I came across with every interview, anyone who worked with George Lucas, they just stress how much of a nice guy he was, how he always thought of everyone who worked at Lucasfilm as family. And once again, that resonated with the story I was telling, that Star Wars is about family. And George was the dad, and I can tell you, everyone just had nothing but kind words to say about him.
You know, going back to Charlie Bailey, I can't wait to meet him again, because I'm going to ask him to take a trip back down memory lane to 1991 when he met a 22-year-old Richard Woloski as he checked into the Hilton Hotel in Dedham, and he made the mistake of telling me he worked on Star Wars.
Uh-oh.
So
you pestered him the whole time.
I pestered him the whole week he was there. I think he enjoyed it because I knew who he was. Because at that time, with no IMDb or no internet, you didn't really know who these people were. But when he said Charlie Bailey, Industrial Light and Magic, I knew exactly who you are. And yes, I can't wait to find him again and apologize.
He was great. Like, we ended up staying at his house for probably about 4 hours, and Jack didn't, but the rest of us, we all had beers with him, and we just sat there and we just talked about his history in film, talked about Steven Spielberg, Howard the Duck, because that was one of the hardest films he ever worked on. Star Trek 4, you know, he gave us a tour of his house, and he just said, "Yeah, guys, you want to hang out?" And we were all just like, my camera operator, Terry, Jurassic Park is his favorite film of all time. And he wanted to sit there and just talk to Charlie about, you know, behind the scenes of Jurassic Park. And we just sat there and talked about film. And we went back the next day after we interviewed Steve Gawley. We actually drove back to his house, popped in again, had another couple of beers, and just sat there and talked about film. And it was just blew me away. He's such a nice guy.
Wow. That's amazing.
Now, you started My Saga after you knew you had a tumor, correct?
Yes, that's correct, yes. At the time, of course, I wasn't thinking about a documentary, but the tumor sparked me into living one of my dreams, and that was to become a filmmaker. And I'd put that on hold during my parents' divorce when I was a teenager to sort of get over that sort of experience and stick with my family. And I went and got a job. I worked at a cinema. I was a projectionist and an usher and all that sort of stuff. So movies were in my blood. And after that event, I was like, my goodness, I've got to do something with my life. And I originally was going to go back to university and finish my degree in film. And my boss at my current job said, well, you're being a bit silly. You've got a family. You've got to work. So they gave me a promotion and more money, which was great. But it still didn't stop me. So I went and did the short film, and I was lucky enough. I had a friend who'd been an actor as a child, and he had a few connections, and I did a short film. And of course, I got a bit of plug on Twitter, which was fantastic. And yeah, My Saga spawned from all of that.
Oh, wow.
And you're just beginning the editing process, right?
Yes, it's amazing how much footage we got, especially when we were in the US. We ended up with nearly close to 2,000 shots that I had to log. We didn't get a chance to log when we were over there, and we've only just started hitting it now, but we filmed all the way up until the end of December. And we took a bit of a break. We were quite exhausted after 12 months. And then I started logging and transcribing everything, and we've just started hitting it now. So it's been a very, very long journey. It's but a great experience. I wouldn't change it for the world.
We are talking with Adam Harris, writer and producer of My Saga, a Star Wars fan documentary. So now, Adam, your film is your peek into the numerous connections families have over Star Wars. What did you discover while doing this yourself?
we wanted to, it was me exploring what Star Wars meant to people and how it had impacted them. But yes, along the lines there were a few things I discovered about myself as a parent. So I think it is just more that general feeling of, about parents. It's about mothers, it's about daughters, it's about fathers, sons, cousins, uncles, aunts. Vanessa Marshall, when I got to interview her, mentioned how it was her aunt that got her into Star Wars. So once again, everyone's got one of those stories of it was a family member who got them there, or it was a best friend or a cousin. So that was something I really wanted to touch on, to show that Star Wars is family, it's community, and we're all united in that respect, and we all respect each other.
Well, let's name drop a little bit. What are some of the celebrities that you've interviewed and will be appearing in your My Saga?
Okay, we had Steve Sansweet. He was my first interview at Rancho Obi-Wan. And, of course, Charlie Bailey and Steve Gawley, the ILM model makers, Vanessa Marshall. James Arnold Taylor, that was a thrill to interview him. One of the most sweetest and nice guys. He actually made me cry after he left. We interviewed Corey D. Williams. We interviewed Stephen Costantino. We interviewed the late Eric Bousfeld. And that, I watched that interview the other day with Eric, and it still brings a tear to my eye because, sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but he discussed his history with his family and how he got into radio. And a man who provided such an iconic voice in Admiral Akbar, but he ended up, I asked one question and his interview goes for 25 minutes. So he literally opened up his heart and soul to me, and that was something truly amazing as well. And I also interviewed a few people here in Australia from Star Walking Inc., which is one of the oldest Star Wars fan appreciation societies in the world. And they were a lovely bunch of guys as well. So, but yeah, I got to meet some people. I actually got interviewed by StarWars.com when I was queuing that night, waiting for the JJ panel. So I got to meet Andy from the Star Wars show, which was a thrill, and I got to meet Matt Martin from the Star Wars group, and yeah, it was a thrill. And I also got to interview Perry King, who was Han Solo in the radio dramas, and that was something I hadn't seen a lot of actually out there, is the Star Wars radio dramas, and they were there for me in a very dark time of my life when my parents were divorced, and I discovered the radio dramas, and Perry King's Han Solo is, to me, as iconic as Harrison Ford.
Do you weave in your own personal story within My Saga?
I do. I when we were editing, we wanted to sort of focus on what happened with myself early on in my life, and of course my first experiences. But yes, there's a few moments in there. I will say there'll be some people who'll be reaching for tissues. I know I do. I find it very hard, especially when you're editing a film that has to do with you. But yes, I have woven my story in amongst the Star Wars, and but you'll find that there are similarities between everything. And so, like I say, some of the stories I got, especially from fans at Celebration, once again, they're sort of very similar track to mine.
Oh, nice. What is your timeline on the editing and release?
I'm hoping, if everything goes smoothly, that we'll have this out probably before Rogue One this year. I'm hoping for maybe October, November. But we want to make sure that we have the best possible product to give to Star Wars fans out there. So if it's going to take a little bit longer, it will.
Oh, don't say that. Fans will go crazy. Oh, no, he wants to reshoot. He wants to redub.
I've got a green screen Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Twitter just blew up with, no, how could that be?
Got 4 weeks extra. What are they going to do?
You want to make it better? Oh, no. What is he doing? Did you finance My Saga yourself, or did you get funding?
No, we used Kickstarter, and there was some personal funding in there to get us to America, and of course to do what we're doing now. And but some people volunteered their time, like the guys at Haywire Films who are producing the film. I've known for a few years, and they volunteered their time for free. But we are doing this as a non-profit documentary. All the profit that does get made from any sale of it will go to the Starlight Children's Foundation here in Australia. So I've been very fortunate with the company I've kept, and the people are doing this for a great cause. And once again, we're doing a Star Wars story, which we're hoping the fans will love.
Once again, that's amazing that, Star Wars is family, and Star Wars also gives back. And I think that's amazing that you've teamed up with Starlight Children's Foundation.
Yeah, especially that the fans just never stop giving. If anyone needs help, they're always right there, especially the Starlight Children's Foundation.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're a big part of it. And once again, I was fortunate to meet Stephen Stanton when I was over there, and he was doing stuff for Starlight. You know, he wasn't a listed guest at Celebration, but I got to meet him one day at Celebration there and have a chat with him, and he was doing work for Starlight. So once again, another lovely gentleman. There's not one person I've met in the Star Wars universe that has been mean, except Darth Vader when I was small. He scared me, but that's about it. I met him at a shopping mall and when I was about 5, and it terrified me. I ran for probably a good kilometer before I stopped.
Wow.
Yeah, I ran out of that shopping center. I was like, oh, I love Star Wars. And then I got to see him in real life, and I was out the door.
Yeah, I love when you're on a big screen, but when you're right here in my face,
Yeah. Wow. Well, can people still donate, or how does that work?
Well, at the moment, all that we'd like people to do is if they go to the My Saga website, we have a page set up directly for Starlight. So it's not donating to the movie, it's donating to them. And we've set up a page there, of course, with their permission, so that people can log in there, go straight onto it, and make a donation to Starlight and help kids and help the Starlight.
Excellent.
That is fantastic. You know what? Your fandom goes back to the 80s, and I want to ask you, what is your greatest moment in Star Wars fandom?
Oh, goodness. Oh, that's a tough question. That's like asking which one's my favorite child.
Okay, which one's your favorite child? Let's go easy, work our way up.
I definitely can't do that. I love them all equally.
If they weren't in the room, who would be your favorite child?
No, I can't do it. You know what? I'd have to say meeting Mark Hamill at Celebration. I got to have a photo with him, with Jack, and that is probably the greatest part of my life ever, because I'd never thought that would ever happen in my life. I would meet my hero with my son, would never have thought of it, and I have this photo sitting right next to me. I have it at my bedside table, and I have it in my bag when I go to work, because if I'm ever having a bad day, I look at that and go,
"Oh, that's amazing!"
That you can't beat that. And I got to put my arm around him. I got to touch him, and it was only for a minute. And I got that photo, and I just explosion.
I feel you there. I remember, was it Star Wars Celebration 6?
Yeah.
That we were in line to see Mark Hamill in the main stage, and we weren't getting in, and the time was creeping up, and we weren't getting in. And 5 minutes after he was supposed to start, we were ushered in quickly, and we all sat down, and they were pretty good seats too. And all of a sudden, Mark Hamill came out, and here was this man, like in the flesh, in person, that I had never seen before. Like here he is in real life. And I've looked up to him so long. And so, I had the same reaction as you. Like, I started getting all teary. I was like, oh, my God, this is the same room.
Yeah, just looking at him going, wow, you've been to Tatooine.
Yeah.
You've been to Hoth. You've been to Endor. When I met him at his very first convention appearance back in 94, this is the first convention appearance where he's actually done a signing and a panel. I was the last person in line to meet him, so he kept looking down this long line of people just eyeing me and smiling at me and going, and then finally I got to him, and there's a whole little group of people around talking to him, and we're talking about this new Star Wars Episode 1 movie that was been proposed for the longest time, and we're all talking. And back then, I was a film student as well.
Yep.
I wouldn't go anywhere without a video camera. So I have this whole conversation recorded between me and Mark Hamill, and someone asked him, do you think you would play a young Anakin Skywalker? Not thinking that young Anakin's like 8 years old.
Yeah, right.
And then he looks up and he said, I think that'd be too gimmicky. I said, yeah that'd be too gimmicky. He looks over at me and says, yeah, you're right. I was like, oh,
amazing.
It's like,
That is so cool.
And I have that on video. It's like, oh my God, that's my most treasured video of a Star Wars moment. And then we got a picture together. I got a picture right here in my office where he takes me and just kind of smushes me up next to him and gives like a point, like hey.
Oh wow! See, magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Just wow. Just going.
Everything
Wow.
he
This
represents.
is the man that I grew up idolizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like yourself. But you had the extra added benefit of having your little son there and seeing it from his eyes.
Yeah. It was something special, especially too being in that room when we finally got into the JJ panel and just sitting in there and watching that unfold, and seeing my heroes and now his heroes coming on stage with the new cast, and that was just a magic in itself. I'm like, I feel like I could touch JJ and just give him a cuddle and give Kathleen Kennedy a cuddle. I just wanted to get up there and hug them, because especially Kathleen Kennedy, because Steven Spielberg is my favorite director of all time, and she has produced some of the greatest films of all time. And I just wanted to get up there and go, oh, thank you, Kathleen, for taking the job and looking after Star Wars,
Right.
It was a great day. But yeah, Mark Hamill's up there as my number one.
Oh, that's amazing.
So what is Jack's favorite Star Wars moment? Does he have one? Is there something he keeps going back to?
He loves playing Star Wars Battlefront. If I ask him what's anything favorite about Star Wars at the moment, it's playing Star Wars Battlefront. He's obsessed with this game. But I don't know. He does miss America. I know that, he brings that up quite a lot. And he's like, Daddy, I miss it. Can we go back to Star Wars Celebration? Can we go back to Disneyland? Because we'd never been to Disneyland. And I wasn't going to go when I was over there because, of course, my wife and my other two kids were at home, and I didn't want them to miss out on that experience. And my arm got twisted the day before we were about to fly out back home, and I went. And I will never go to a theme park in Australia ever again after experience what Disneyland gives. I wish I had have got a 3-day pass and spent my last 3 days there, because it's I got lost. I was like, oh my God, I don't have enough time to get everything. And I wish I had someone to carry my bags, because all I want to do is buy stuff. It's stepping back in time, because when I was little, we had a show called Sunday Afternoon Disney on the 7 network, and you'd sit down at dinner and you'd watch it, and it would be the old school Mickey cartoons and some of the live action like Bedknobs and Broomsticks and all that, and you'd sit there and you'd eat your dinner on a Sunday evening, and it'd be a roast dinner, of course, and you'd be doing that, watching that, and I want to go to Disneyland. And then in 1988, my mother won a trip to Japan, and Tokyo Disneyland had just been built. So I got to go there, and then I always, once again, vowed that I'd go to the one in the US. And when I went in there, it was like being that age again, stepping back in time, and Dole Whip. Is amazing. Oh my God. It was worth queuing for 15 minutes for Dole Whip.
So then I got to ask you, how much trouble did you get in when you got home and you had to reveal to your wife, we went to Disneyland?
It's called, you just sort of like, here's some gifts I got you.
Yes.
This beautiful Mickey pendant. How did you get that? Well, I went to Downtown Disney, which is free, by the way, to get into it. But then I just happened to step in and pay for a ticket, and then went inside. So, yeah, it just sort of happened. So,
yeah, the only way to LAX airport is right through Disneyland. I don't know how they worked that out, but they did.
It just happened.
There's the shortcut there. But look, I vowed that I will take them there again one day. So
nice.
I'm hoping to get back over.
And for future reference, what you can do is when you buy stuff in the shops, you can pick it up at the end of the night outside the gates.
I didn't know that until I left.
But that's a good tip.
That is. Thank you.
Is it safe to assume that you and Jack will be attending Star Wars Celebration Orlando next year?
Well, there's a little bit of discussion what we're doing there, because, of course, we'll have a finished film by then, definitely. And we're hoping that my Saga might make an appearance in some way, shape, or form over there. So we're working on that at the moment. We're talking to a few people, so fingers crossed.
Exciting.
Do you have a distribution platform set up yet?
At the moment, we're looking at just doing it via our website, but I could say I'm fortunate enough. I work for a major company retailer in Australia that actually deal with a lot of the distributors like Disney and Fox and all that. So I have an outlet that I can go to them directly and plead my case. But we want to make sure that we've got something substantial to show them before we ask for a deal. But we've got a few people that are interested at the moment.
With so many theaters now showing digital projection, you could always do a theatrical screening too.
Nice.
That is on the cards. But I'd like to do a screening in the US when it's completed as well. So there may be a screening somewhere down there or over your side of the water, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, definitely keep us notified. And so, Adam, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up today?
Just look, for people, if they want to check out our website, the mysaga.com.au or the Facebook page or our Twitter, we're always putting stuff up at any point. I'm more than happy to contact people. People contact me directly, via my Facebook page. I'm always open to anything. So, just keep checking it out. Keep your eyes on it. And hopefully we'll have a few previews coming up in the next few months as well. We may or may not have another trailer very close to release as well.
Okay, what is your Twitter name again?
It is at mysaga _SW.
Perfect.
And go ahead and give us the website address again.
It's www.mysaga.com.au.
Okay.
And if you look at it on a PC or a computer, turn the volume up because there's music that plays when you're scrolling through the pages.
Ooh, fun.
Just better quality sort of thing.
Right.
Good deal.
Okay.
Well, Adam, thank you once again for sharing your stories, and I'm very glad to hear that the tumor is pretty much
under control.
I guess. And
sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just picture all the little midi-chlorians gathering around it and going, no. The Force is definitely on your side.
Thank you so much, guys.
Nice.
All right, there you go. One take, Adam.
Oh, wow. That's a first. Trust me, when I did the Kickstarter video, I did over 100 takes to get the speech down.
So it's actually Father's Day for you right now if you were in America.
That's right. But I'll take it. So I'm going to go and ask for my presents right now. My breakfast in bed.
Awesome.
You know what? Have your son take you to see episode 8 again. Hold on 1 second there, Adam.
Yeah, we just had a
little bit of a glitch here, so give us 1 second.
Yeah.
Because he'll be fine. He'll sound great.
Yeah.
No,
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout-outs, Skywalker shout-outs. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who was tweeted out? Shout-out. Who was photobombed? Shout-out. Who was shared a post? Shout-out.
So we posted our LEGO Star Wars Freemaker Adventures episode 124 last week, and it hit quite the nerve on Twitter. So first, Leland Chi, at Holocron Keeper himself, and member of the Lucasfilm Story Group.
And a past Skywalker of the Week.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that's right. He tweeted, "Glad you enjoyed the first episode. So many great new characters and adventures await the Freemakers." He's been tweeting a lot about this, so I think this is kind of like his baby series. Like, I've noticed a lot more tweets from Leland Chi about LEGO Star Wars Freemaker Adventures than like anything else recently.
And we just saw the first episode this morning.
Yes, we did.
And it was really good.
It was so cute. Yeah, of course, anything LEGO is cute, but I think Kai was right in that it's a bit less tongue-in-cheek and more canon-like, I guess.
Well, there weren't as many gags as the other LEGO Star Wars adventures.
And it looks like there's like a through story, whereas like Droid Tales or something is all about gag after gag after gag.
Yeah, very Simpson-esque.
Yes.
This one here, it had its gags, but also it was more heavily based in story and character.
Yeah.
And has a huge twist at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's continue with our shout-outs here.
Let's talk about the twist.
Not yet. No.
Okay, but it was really good.
Okay, shh. Okay, everyone watch Freemaker Adventures. Okay.
When Sarah says, shh, that's my cue to shh.
Which you didn't. Well, let me tell you about this cryptic tweet we got from @InevitablyBill, responding to our plug for the Freemaker Adventures, which my phone autocorrected to Freakier Adventures. So, Inevitably Bill wrote on Twitter, "Wow, so honored. Thank you." I was like, I wonder if he's involved. Well, it turned out that was Bill Motz, one of the creators of the show, who tweeted at us and shared our episode.
Wow.
I know.
That's
so
amazing.
That was pretty neat. And just proof that our world keeps shrinking, So what was once that...
Wait, what?
Well, what was once that huge gap between like the public and the stars or the creators of show, something like that.
The gap between all that is shrinking.
Yes. Yeah, it's now the world is kind of a place where like-minded fans can meet, interact, and create a lovely Star Wars family.
Well, you know why Bill Motz tweeted at us?
Because we were tweeting about Freemaker Adventures.
That too, but he also wants to be Skywalker of the Week like Leland Chi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's now a battle for the Skywalkers of the Week.
Uh-oh. One to rule them all?
Yeah. Oh, but instead of there can only be 2, in our case, there can only be 125 and counting.
Yes, exactly. Did you count recently? Is that how many there are?
Well, we're on episode 125.
Oh, but we didn't start this until a little bit, like a year after we started.
Moving right along.
All right, so iTunes reviews. I looked randomly. Sometimes I'll check iTunes, sometimes I won't, but I looked this time, and there have been like 4 new iTunes reviews added.
Which brings us almost to 200 reviews.
It does.
On the cusp of 200 reviews.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
We want to thank you, Skywalker, so much. And I want to thank Patty Hammond and her husband, Michael. They both wrote some wonderful reviews. In Patty's case, she rewrote her review to kind of update it. And then Michael titled his The Best Family-Friendly Star Wars Disney Podcast. So we love that.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. I wish I knew how to reverb. I would reverb that.
Well, I can help you.
Okay.
The Best Family-Friendly Star Wars Disney Podcast.
Podcast. Who needs technology?
I know, right? Now, Chris from Mouse Scouts podcast, he gave us a great review titled Awesome Sauce, which is why he was Skywalker of the Week last week. So thank you, Chris Shepard.
Got a question about that. Where did Awesome Sauce start?
That's a good question.
All
Tweet
right.
at us, you guys.
Weight Walkers, get on that one.
At Skywalking Pod. We want to know. All right.
And then our pals Chickafin, who were just our scope walkers a few minutes ago, they emailed in a couple of emails.
Chickafen's parents?
Yes.
Okay, because Chickafan can't write.
No. Chickafan he doesn't have opposable thumbs.
Yes.
Which means he can't click at a keyboard or hold a pen or a pencil. It doesn't even exist anymore.
So what did Chickafen's parents say?
Chickafen's parents say, "We're really excited that you've got a Skywalking Through Neverland Disney cruise planned for the later part of 2017. Still not sure if we're able to make it to the West Coast to join in on the fun, but my parental units and I haven't ruled it out yet. No matter what, it's going to be an amazing time." They're the ones who really started this whole Disney cruise craze.
Absolutely. Well, I think in the back of my head, I always wanted to go on a Disney cruise, but I think it was when we talked to them that you're like, wow, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
so
I didn't even really think about it.
Thank you, Chickafent, for making my husband want to go on a Disney cruise
thanks,
too.
Chickafent. Where can we send the bill? Anyway, they go on by saying, "Thanks for having Miss Charles on, Kai Charles, to talk about the press event for LEGO Star Wars The Freemaker Adventures. I was already excited to watch the show, but her stories from the event got me even more excited."
Yay.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear that people are getting more excited and people are just getting excited because of what they hear on...
Yeah.
They heard from Kai Charles' press event review.
Well, it's always cool to hear some behind-the-scenes stuff. I know that makes me more interested. Just like Finding Dory. Like, I want to see it again because I heard what the filmmakers actually had to say.
Yeah, so I'm glad everyone's getting excited now about the Freemakers. And once again, we had seen the first episode, and so good. So good. Now, Chickafent's parents sent in another email regarding classic Marvel Star Wars comics. And Chickafent writes, "Thanks for another fun and informative episode. It's great to hear your thoughts on each issue of these classic comics. These were my dad's entry into Star Wars since the movie didn't come to his home theater with one screen until a year later after its original release. My hometown of Newton had a multiplex, which means it had 2 screens. So listening to your show has really reminded him of how much fun, since he didn't know anything different at the time, these stories were. Even if the stories can be a little odd at times, and believe me, they're going to get even odderer, they still provided characters that people haven't forgotten and still care for it to this day. Love him or dislike him, most fans know who Jackson is. Thanks to you, sweetie.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for keeping the love flowing for that awesome green rabbit.
Aww.
Oh.
Yay.
I love that.
I love that too. Yeah, I think that's great. And yeah, we realized how many people knew who Jackson was when I cosplayed as Jackson.
And even when people vote for him to be the next action figure.
Yes, definitely.
Though he never wins, he does get a lot of votes.
Yep.
And the classic Marvel Star Wars comics really love their bunnies with Jackson and the Hoojibs.
Yeah.
Someone there was a bunny lover. Gotta get into that.
And now with that, we'd like to announce a very special Skywalker of the Week.
Jennifer Crinebrook, rescuer of Princess Leia.
Congratulations to Jennifer Crinebrook. She just rescued a puppy from the SPCA and named her Princess Leia.
Oh, which she posted a picture of in our Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook group.
Yeah, you know what? That will get you bumped up to the very top of the list if you rescue a puppy or a bunny or a kitty or any animal.
That is one of Richard's main,
That's
main
one.
things.
That's one of my soft spots.
Yes.
Saving animals, because there are so many shelters out there that just need. They have so many animals just that needs to be saved. And if ever you want to just take a walk through some of these shelters, you just want to collect all the puppies.
Aww.
You just want to get all the animals and say, okay, guys, into the car right now.
Aww.
Because if you save an animal, that animal knows that you just saved their little furry butt, and they will love you more than any other animal ever will.
Aww.
So with that, Jennifer, you so deserved the Skywalker of the Week.
Skywalker stories, sharing those Skywalker stories with Richard and Sarah. Skywalker stories.
Wherever your fandom lies, chances are you have a story to tell.
In our continuing Skywalker story series, we now hear from our good friend, Patty Hammond.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Richard and Sarah. How are you doing today?
We are doing good. We're so excited to hear about your story. So what is your story?
My story is that my husband and I took a behind-the-scenes tour at Walt Disney World at the Magic Kingdom. And during the tour, I did my usual, pointing things out that I already knew or commented on and stuff along those lines. Well, going through the tour guide kept giving me funny looks, and I didn't know why.
You were Hermione.
Yes. Yes, I was, unfortunately. And then when we went underneath the tunnels, he was telling us the history about that, and I piped up, with my knowledge of that, which I think is the point when he started to get disconcerted.
I see.
And he was starting to act a little funny around me.
Yeah, funny how?
Funny, give me a look before he said something.
Was he checking his iPhone to make sure his facts were correct?
I want to say that was in 2010. So before the iPhones got popular. So he still had
a beeper.
Yes, exactly.
Then this guy had mission control in his ear going, don't get this one wrong, get this one right, just be very vague on this. We have eyes on Patty. Just keep calm.
That is exactly how it acted. And they said when we got to the lunch, which was at Liberty Square, he approached me after the lunch, and then he asked me, get this, he says, how did I do? Did I perform okay? I'm like, huh? He says, you work for Disney and you're evaluating me, right?
Is that because you knew so much already?
Yes.
Aww.
Oh, please say you played this up.
No, I didn't, unfortunately. I didn't. I wasn't socially active enough at that time to do that.
Yeah, you could have told him, an annual pass would really make this evaluation go through the roof. No such luck?
No such luck.
So after he found out that you were let's say, a muggle? Was he more relaxed?
Yes, he got more relaxed, and I think it surprised him that there was somebody that knew that much without being an employee.
So before he found out who you were, did he give you special attention and more cookies?
I did get to the front of the line for the food.
Oh,
for the lunch.
Okay, Sarah, we're going to take this tour, but we'll take it with a clipboard and a pen and a headset.
Nice. And some glasses. Bring your glasses.
And a protractor. And an abacus.
A protractor.
And a slide whistle.
Oh, gosh, a slide whistle.
All right, Patty, this is giving us great ideas.
Yes.
Boy, this really opens doors.
Yeah.
Patty, thank you very much.
But it did make me feel very good that I could become a Disney employee if I really wanted to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, it validates your experience, and you must have said what you had to say with enough expertise that he thought you were one of them.
Exactly. Which made me feel better about myself.
Isn't that what Disney's all about? Making everyone feel good.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Nice.
Well, then this guy, wherever you are, mission accomplished. Now I'll take the rest of the hour off.
Nice. All right, Patty. Well, Patty, where can people reach out to you?
You can find me on my blog at everydayfangirl.com. You can also find me on Twitter at pattybones2. So those are the two best places to get a hold of me.
Awesome. And I know we tweet all the time, so thank you for being a tweet walker.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And, of course, I don't know why my weather keeps telling me I'm on Alderaan, so please get me off Alderaan.
Yeah, not a good place to stick around for long.
No, not at all. Run.
Skywalking through Neverland. Skywalking to Celebration. In Europe. Star Wars Celebration. Let's celebrate.
Of course, it's always fun to see what vintage and new collectibles vendors are selling at celebration conventions. But what we've noticed in the last few years is the rise in interest from fans in owning the amazing artwork from so many great artists in attendance.
Jason Christmann is one artist not to be missed at Star Wars Celebration Europe. He will be debuting 3 brand new prints and 1 Celebration Art exclusive print. Here he is now to tell us about these works of art.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, guys.
Hey, thank you very much for coming on and telling us all about your amazing artwork. Because like we just said, I think the artwork interest has really grown over the last few conventions.
Oh, yeah, it has.
And I know for me, I tend to stray more toward the artwork just to see what people are doing and what kind of interpretations they're taking on their art. But you know what? Let's save that for a few minutes down the line. Because right now, we want to know about you as a fan and as an artist.
I'm a big fan, of course, going back to the first grade when the first movie came out. And I've been able to share that experience with my son, who was also in the first grade when the last movie came out. So that's been a real nice treat. And my son's middle name happens to be Skywalker. So
whoa!
It's in our blood.
Right on. I get to meet this kid of yours. Well, tell him he has our blessing.
Oh, okay, great. He actually has his own YouTube channel. He's only 7. So,
well, what is that? Let's give it a plug.
It's Caden Skywalker. That is his YouTube channel.
Kate, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Caden Skywalker. So he's going to the dark side.
Yeah, for the past 6 months, I've kind of given him free reign. You know, he's experimenting and doing things. But the last video, I actually created an intro for him and honed in his editing skills a little bit. So it's actually a really great piece, the last one he did.
So creativity really runs in your family.
Oh, yeah.
What age did you start your artwork?
Same age, really. I've always, been an illustrator since I was a kid. Photography was my major, and then Photoshop came out and changed my life because it was a darkroom out of the darkroom. I quit school, bought a $10,000 Apple computer, and never looked back.
Wow. Awesome. So Photoshop really grabbed you, and is that like mostly where you create your art?
It is. Photoshop is kind of where it starts and ends. I do use, Illustrator and pen and pencil and paper. But, my niche in photography was darkroom manipulation. And I would use, 5 enlargers to create an image that never existed. Photoshop, allows me to go beyond that, and back in the day, when we had no layers and only one back command, you saved a lot of files, and and I kind of just grew with Photoshop. So, I can probably use Photoshop with my eyes closed these days. So
wow. Well, that's impressive. I mean, I know I use Photoshop and Illustrator, but probably nowhere near the level that you do. So I think that's very impressive.
Thanks.
Is this your first Celebration convention as an artist?
No, this is my second one. Last year was my very first one.
Star Wars Celebration Anaheim?
Yep. That was my first. That was my first any kind of con.
Whoa.
Believe it or not.
Oh, you're a newbie at all this.
I am a newbie. Yes, I was thrown to the wolves in my first time out.
So you created for Star Wars Celebration Anaheim the Millennium Falcon. I guess it's kind of like an ad almost, or
it's a Millennium Falcon for hire is what the title was.
Right.
And it's a vintage style ad of the Millennium Falcon because, how does Han Solo get work? Well, he's got to put the word out, And, fast, safe, fun, and discreet with lots of special modifications to the ship. This is kind of my ode to Star Wars and Mad Men. So,
nice.
If Solo hired, Don Draper to do his, ads, this is the result.
Oh,
so.
You know what? That is a short film begging to be made. Han Solo goes in to Sterling Cooper, meets up with Don Draper. How would that go? You have 2 alphas in a room.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
That would be great.
Well, all the office ladies would be flittering about. That's for sure.
Never get your work done. So how did Star Wars Celebration Anaheim go for you?
It went so good for me. I did really well with my poster sales. The artists were so helpful, gave me tons of advice. I reached out to a few of them beforehand. Being able to go into the show before it opens, you kind of, get to check everything out before the crowds and stuff. And that was actually my favorite part about being at the show was being able to be there early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
And, I have a Star Wars autograph book that I created and got tons of autographs.
Did you hone in on the artists or the actors, the producers?
No, the actors. I made all my friends wait in line for me.
You've got some good friends.
Yeah, right?
Or you know how to delegate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, do you think Star Wars Celebration Anaheim was a stepping stone to getting into Star Wars Celebration Europe?
Well, it was a big stepping stone for sure. I don't think that it made a difference in me getting into the show. All of the art in the show, when you submit it, they're all numbered. So when the Lucasfilm executives get to vote on what prints get in the show, they have no idea who's attached to the designs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they select, I'm guessing, between 20 and 30 designs. And then from those designs, the artists have to decide if they can make it to the show.
Oh.
Boy, this is like the Hunger Games.
So is this...
Yeah.
This is what happens with Star Wars Celebration Europe as well?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're voted in, do you automatically get a booth then?
You were automatically offered a booth.
Oh, nice.
We still have to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
And let me make sure I'm understanding this. So you submit it without your name attached? Did I hear that right?
Well, your name is attached to it, but the people who are voting at Lucasfilms do not see the name attached to it. You're given a number, basically.
Right. So it's like a blind.
Yeah, that's
that's a choice.
It's a blind vote. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Why do you think they do that?
Just to make it fair, so that new people have just as good of odds as the veterans.
Yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they recognize some of the styles.
Wow. So your Celebration exclusive art print, is that kind of similar to the Millennium Falcon design, or is it something totally different?
Well, this year's celebration print is a Falcon design, but it's a different style than what I did last year. Last year I did more of a vintage advertisement style, which is one of the genres that I like to dabble in. But this year, this year's design is more along my minimalist style.
Oh.
Which is my other thing I like to do. I've currently have 12 licensed minimalist Star Wars prints that have been released 2 at a time since summer of 2012 was when I got my first licensed Star Wars print.
Right.
Yeah, these are really nice. We're looking on your website right now, and these are fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
So Star Wars Celebration Anaheim had more of a Mad Men feel. So will Star Wars Celebration Europe have more of like a Game of Thrones feel?
You could kind of say that.
Oh, really?
Well, my 3 new prints are still in the minimalist style, but they have. I'm doing characters instead of ships because I've always done ships. So my 3 new ones is kind of my ode to the original trilogy. They're titled 4, 5, and 6. Those are the names of them.
Can you reveal the characters?
Minimalist, like the style. Yeah, the first one has Luke, Han, and Leia.
Ooh, nice.
And with these designs, I took it a step further with my minimalist style and evolved it a little bit by adding lens flares and lights to whatever would be lit up on these images. So the first print for A New Hope has Luke's lightsaber lit up. The second print for Empire Strikes Back is Han Solo frozen in carbonite floating behind Boba Fett.
Nice.
With the lights on the side glowing. And then behind him, you'll see a couple stormtroopers. And then the third one for Return of the Jedi is the Emperor and Vader's lightsaber is lit up.
Isn't the lens flare more appropriate for an Episode 7 poster? I'm connecting all the J.J. Abrams lens flares to this.
Exactly. Yeah, we actually joked about that too. I'm going more J.J. with my prints this year.
Yeah, you know what? If you look back at the Hildebrandt poster, Luke's lightsaber does have a lot of lens flare.
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
And even the Tom Young Star Wars initial release poster had a big lens flare that went across the poster.
Yeah.
So you can always tell people you're going vintage.
Yeah, exactly, which is what I love to do.
So can you? Oh, right on. So now, can you tell us about your exclusive print?
Yeah, the exclusive print again is the Millennium Falcon. It's titled "Escaping the Death Star." So this would be a shot of the Millennium Falcon leaving the Death Star with 4 TIE fighters following behind him.
Oh, nice. So is there a lot of movement to the piece?
Yeah, it has some action in it. It's it's kind of a black and white distressed feel. A touch of brown tones in it. Mm-hmm. A lot of texture. If you look closely enough, and I don't think you can see this much detail online, but there is faint detail in almost every part of it, but you have to, look and squint to be able to see it. It's just a minimal design with detail.
Once again, we're talking with Jason Christmann, who is debuting his new artwork at Star Wars Celebration Europe in just a few weeks. Now, Jason, how did you land on this particular concept?
I've had so many versions of it that I've never been happy with. And I thought, well, let's see if other people like it. So I submitted it, even though there's only 6 pieces to this print, Death Star, 4 TIE fighters, and a Falcon. I must have done every size and placement you could possibly imagine before deciding to let it go where it is now.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. I know. As doing projects in school, I'd be creating something, and then I'd be like, oh, should I add this? Should I add this? You add one thing too much, and then it just ruins the whole thing.
That even goes to podcasting too.
Yeah.
Sarah's gonna rip the computer from my hands every Tuesday night. Rich, it's done. We got to get it out. I need to tinker more.
That's kind of one of the things that I get nervous about when I am with other artists, because there's so many good artists who are going to be at the celebration and who are painters and illustrators that just can go way beyond what I can do. And when I talk to them or we show each other our prints and stuff, I'm always afraid that they're going to think that this, what did this take me 5 minutes? You know what I mean? And, it didn't. It took me, I probably put more hours into it than they did because I just couldn't stop playing with it.
I think any artist can see the value and the time spent in any piece of art. Is there one artist that you're really looking forward to meeting one day?
Oh, put me on a spot there. Who's alive? You know what? There's a lot of them. And I actually enjoy meeting every single one of the celebration artists. And last year at the show, I made it a point to stop at every single table and shake the hands of every one of them because they all did such a fantastic job, and we're kind of all in the same boat together, and it's like a little family. I learned so much from them last year. I made a lot of mistakes last year.
Oh, really?
Oh, costly mistakes last year. I still consider it a success, but my first print, I had a typo.
Oh.
I know. And it was released on the website with a typo. And when pre-sale orders came out, I got an email from a fan saying, hey, I love your print. I want to pre-order it. Can you let me know if that misspelled word will be fixed before celebration? And my heart just kind of sank,
What was misspelled?
It was the word discreet. And spell checker didn't catch it because it was spelled like a different word. And for months, no one caught it. Lucasfilms didn't catch it. Read Expo didn't catch it. My friends and family didn't catch it. And it was a fan. So my other mistake was that I was going for quality. And so I had 18 mil thick stock, soft touch coating prints. They ran me, I won't even say how much. It was embarrassingly how much I paid for them. And I had to do a second run. So, that was a costly mistake I made last year. And then there's lots of other little things I saw other people do that I didn't think of that this year is so different. I'm still doing a high quality print, but I'm not spending the money I did last year on it.
Right. I know everything's a learning experience, so that's great that you're given this second opportunity.
And I'm sure if you talk to any artist, they'll have very similar stories.
Oh yeah. I've heard plenty. And there's some new artists coming out this year too. And so I wrote a list of everything I made a mistake last year and sent it to each one of them.
Oh wow, that's very responsible of you. And it shows that the Star Wars community really is family focused, and that where everyone's hoping to help each other out. So I'm very glad to hear that you have done that.
Star Wars families are great.
Yeah. Hey, for future reference, sketch up a picture of a clown and just keep it in your back pocket. So if you ever meet Randy Martinez, just say, "Here you go," and walk away.
I will do that. And I did meet Randy Martinez last year. And he was actually one of the people who replied back to me last year when I reached out to everyone for advice. So yeah, great guy.
Yeah, we love Randy over here. He does the classic Marvel Star Wars comics with us, and on our last recording, he divulged a secret that he shouldn't have, and that he's afraid of clowns.
Yes. And now people on Twitter have taken to teasing him.
Yeah, so just keep that clown painting or the clown sketch pocketed in your rear pocket, so when you see him, just put it on his table and walk away.
Do you know if he's going to be?
He's not going to be at this one, no.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's more locally based. But I'm sure he'll be at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, so you have a year to devise this ruse.
This plan.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying out for that one too.
Yeah. Now, for your art print here, or any of your prints that are going to be sold at Star Wars Celebration Europe, can people, there's going to be pre-sales, correct?
There will be pre-sales of the new print
Okay.
of Escaping the Death Star. Acme Archives is handling the pre-sales for me. They also handle the art show at the event. I will have a link on my site to be able to pre-order. You can only pre-order if you can pick it up at the event, because this is an exclusive for the event only.
Right.
So
Okay, I was going to ask you that, so that's good to know. How much is your print?
40 pounds.
Okay.
So about 60 American dollars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it translates close to about $54 today.
Oh, even better. Well, that's very affordable for a nice piece of artwork, from getting it from the artist itself, and you can autograph it too, right?
Yep, I will be there hand signing a number in each one.
And taking selfies, of course.
Taking tons of selfies. I got a selfie with Dave Filoni last year.
With or without his hat?
With his hat, and I also had a cardboard cutout of Han Solo that was between us. So it was the three of us. It was Harrison Ford and Dave and myself.
So do you know your booth number yet, or is that too
No,
early?
I don't have a booth number. There will be a specific art show area.
Okay.
Like at last celebration. Last year it was next to the Tattooing and the show store. It was in that.
That's a good place to be.
yeah, we got a lot of
heavy
traffic
there.
Yeah, there's a lot of heavy. I mean, there's a heavy traffic at every square foot of this place. There's not a bad spot in the place, really.
No, not at all.
So now, if people want to get in contact you on social media, how can they do that, and how can they see your prints online?
Well, first and foremost, I do have a website, jasonwchristmann.com. It's like Christman or Christmann or Christmas with an N, in case you're wondering how to spell it.
ChristMan.
M-A-N, yep.
Okay.
And then I have a Twitter account with a measly 120 followers, so come find me. It's Jason W. Christmann. And I do have an Instagram account, which is actually called Star Wars Artist. I don't know how I got that, but it was available and I took it. So
yeah, and for any Skywalkers out there who love vintage artwork, you got a section on classic monsters.
Ooh.
You have a Wolfman and Frankenstein, Dracula, Wicked Witch, and the Mummy Prince.
You're all over that, Richard.
Yeah,
I love these.
Yo Gabba Gabba,
Wait, hold on, stop right there.
Yo Gabba Gabba. Oh my goodness.
All right, explain.
Wow.
Well, I have a 7-year-old. So
there you go.
From the age of 3 to 5, that's all he watched. So I had to do those.
Wow, that's so funny. Look at them.
Yeah, we're looking at Broby right now, and he definitely does have a party in his tummy. I know my Gabbas. And you also have one on vintage robots too, which I really, really like.
Yeah, those are real popular. I do a lot of movie posters and stuff too. My website doesn't have everything I've done up there because I never have time to do stuff for myself. I do advertising for a living, so it's ironic that I can't ever find the time to do it for myself. Eventually, I'll be putting more content up. So,
all right, now before we wrap up, explain this whole drunk section that you have.
Oh yeah, that's the drunk series. It's I do a lot of work in Portland in the independent film community up here, and I did a website and posters for a short film series called the Drunk Series. It started with a movie called Star Drunk. It was written drunk and it was acted drunk.
Wow.
And it went viral. Yeah, the Star Drunk went viral. They got millions of hits, and they said, well, it looks like we're going to have to do a series. So they did 5 more, and they're all super funny. I highly recommend you watching them, drunkseries.com.
Oh.
My company, Blue Couch Media, is producing a documentary based on those films. Behind-the-scenes footage. We guarantee you that everybody actually was drunk in the filming of this. There's a lot of debate whether or not they were just acting drunk or if they were really drunk. They were drunk. The documentary will prove it. And I highly recommend you guys watch it.
Wow.
Boy, I hope Budweiser was sponsoring those films.
There were some local distilleries that help sponsor it. So,
well, Sarah, I know we have our plans now for tonight.
Yep, sounds good. After Zootopia.
We'll chase that down with Star Drunk.
Yep.
All right, Jason. Well, thank you very, very much. And is there anything that we forgot to ask that you want to tell everybody?
To share?
Okay, yes. Please come out and meet me at my table at Star Wars Celebration Europe in the art show. Look for the minimalist lightsabers that will be on display behind me. You can't miss it.
Awesome.
All right, Jason. Well, good luck to you, and get your passport all ready, and have
Never
fun.
land on Alderaan.
Get your passport ready for Alderaan, but just don't land there.
My license plate frame says my other ride destroyed Alderaan.
Oh.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that'll wrap up episode 125 of
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We want to thank Adam Harris of My Saga, Jason Christmann for telling us all about his new Star Wars Celebration Europe print, and Patty Hammond for her great Skywalker story.
And now we want to share where we're going to be, because we're going to have Skywalker Meetups coming up in the next over a year. I know. So we want to meet up with all of our family of Skywalkers, and we're having meetups now. August 5th through 7th is the Friends of the Magic weekend at Disneyland with Window to the Magic podcast and tons of other Disney podcasts. So if you happen to be in the area around that time, please join in. It's all free to join in these various little meetups every couple of hours.
And a great way to meet your favorite Disney podcasters.
Yeah, including us. Yeah.
Now, September 3rd and 4th, my sweetie wife Sarah will be running the Dumbo Double Dare Challenge at the Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend.
Yes.
Weekend.
I know.
Yeah. I'll be there, just not running.
Okay, which means we'll have to have a meetup at some point as well. So that September 3rd or 4th. Details to follow.
And then right around the corner, well, 8 weeks later,
yeah,
on November the 5th, we're so excited to go to the Rancho Obi-Wan Gala event in Petaluma, California. We already know there's so many Skywalkers who attend, so we can't wait to see all the Skywalkers there. And if you're going, let us know, and we'll start listing who's going to be going or potentially going.
Yeah, definitely. Please tweet at us at SkywalkingPod. Now, on November 12th, that is the Superheroes Half Marathon Weekend at Disneyland.
Formerly known as the Avengers Half Marathon Weekend.
Exactly. And Richard and I have stepped back. We're not going to run the half marathon, but we are running the Doctor Strange 10K because it's no longer the Captain America 10K. It's the Doctor Strange 10K, which means new metal. New metal design.
That means they get to market their current film.
Yep, pretty much.
Very smart. Very
smart. So most likely that November 12th, we will be having a meetup in that afternoon as well.
That's going to be what, a Saturday?
That's
probably?
A Saturday,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. And then we're going to have tons of meetups in December around Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Okay.
Can't wait for that. We'll meet you on the sidewalk in front of the TCL. I can do this. Mann's Chinese Grauman's Theater.
No, you almost had it. The TCL Chinese Theater IMAX.
Okay.
That's
that one
it.
there. Okay.
That's it.
We'll be meeting you there.
Yes.
And then in 2017, looking way, way, way ahead.
Yes.
September 17th through the 22nd, a 5-night skywalking Disney cruise to Baja, Mexico. I gotta brush up on my Spanish.
And that is on the Disney Wonder. So yes, Skywalkers, we want you to join us. So to get more info, simply head to storiesofthemagic.com/cruise quote and click on that orange Get a Quote button in the upper left corner. So you can get kind of a free, no obligation quote and more information about this cruise. We're so excited. We're going to be doing a lot of different meetups and like maybe excursions together as a group. So when you put in that Get a Quote button, just in the comments section, mention Skywalking Through Neverland, so Randy Crane will know that you will be part of our group.
And you can sit at the cool kids table.
Yeah.
All right, now to wrap up this outro, let's go ahead and tell everyone that we are a proud member of RetroZap.com, where you can find awesome shows like Brews and Blasters, Techno Retro Dads.
And if you're into gaming, there are several gaming podcasts, including ArgCast, which is Retro Gaming Podcast, and the Trade Federation Podcast, which is a podcast all about the Star Wars Card Trader app from Topps.
And the upcoming Talking Apes TV, which is due sometime not this coming week, but then a week after that.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
All right. And once again, always our TeePublic store is open. And if you feel like supporting us through TeePublic or Her Universe, please head over to skywalkingthroughneverland.com and click on that Support Us tab. And that way you can get the links to both our TeePublic store, which features 10 different designs that I have created, and also Her Universe. So we thank you for doing that, Skywalkers.
And please, we always encourage everyone to reach out to us on social media, so Sarah will have something to do while I make breakfast.
That's right. And as usual, we are at Skywalking Pod on most social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and Snapchat. We also have our Facebook group, Skywalking Through Neverland, as well as our Facebook page. Now, if you want to join that Facebook group, please request to join. And also, if you could, send a little message to Skywalking Through Neverland page just to let us know who you are and that you listen to the show, because I'm only inviting listeners of the show into that Facebook group.
Because suddenly there's a lot of spammers who are trying to join the group, so
It's
we're trying to
very
weed them
true.
out before they become a problem.
Yeah. So if you're friends with someone who's already in the group, I'll most likely add you. But if you're not, please just send us that message on Facebook to our Skywalking Through Neverland page, and we'll see about adding you. Also, please email us, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com. Now, Skywalkers, you got your fun homework for this summer, and that is to record yourself singing jingles, your favorite jingle, and email that in. Also, we need your Skywalker stories, and we also need just little Skywalker moments.
But we need a name for the moments.
I like Skywalker moments, but
Skywalker moments it is.
Yeah.
You're little tiny, hey, you want to share this? There you go.
Or
Bye.
Here's a joke, here's a question, here's a moment.
Doesn't need to be long.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of magic that you experienced, whatever it is. All right, Skywalkers. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. And to continue to next week, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Always turn on your air conditioning.
Oh, yes. And always remember...
Neverland on Alderaan. Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant Mark Augushowitz. Technical advisor Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators Donald Wicks, Joey Pittman, and Norma Heitman.
Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, all rights reserved. Sorry, had to be said. And action. Maybe you want to tell us that Secret Squirrels Security Squad... Let me say that again. Secret Squirrels That's hard to say. Secret Squirrels Security Squad. One more time. Secret Squirrels Security Squad just hassled you. Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
Oh, shout out stick in your head, Chickafin. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's see.
Do you want to kick this off?
Yes, I do. Okay. So, for things we want to share...
Let me get you into this.
Okay.
Bum, bum, ba-na-na. Bum, bum, ba-na-na. Bum, bum, ba-na-na. Or something we want you to share.
Yes. We want you to do.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's start this over again.
Okay.
That seemed a little segmented.
Now, we all have those favorite jingles that we sing all throughout the week, such as...
Oh my god.
That wasn't even planned. Wow. How did that happen?
Okay, recording. Woohoo. All right, I don't want to be too loud. All right, here we go.
Hold on.
Driving and watching. Be careful.
Try it.
Mental madness. Christopher. Be careful.
Yeah, don't do that in Los Angeles.
I've done that before, though. So,
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right.
I'll put the phone right in front of the speedometer so I can...
Yeah. Well, mostly you just listen.
Are there any cops watching? Then...
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You can't hold this against me since it's on Periscope.
Okay.
Whatever's on Periscope stays on Periscope. Okay?
For 24 hours.
Okay, Secret Squirrel, if you're watching.
And then it goes away.
Keep it on Periscope.
Hi from Russia. Welcome,
Yay,
Russia. All right. Okay, here we go. So let's do this.
Are we being subtitled in Russian?
No, I doubt it.
Okay.
Okay.
I doubt it too. All right. What are we doing here? Are we almost done?
Yes.
Secret Squirrel.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Another rabbit hole. Another squirrel hole.
All right, here we go.
Okay. We want all your Skywalkers to sing that jingle too. 1, 2, 3. Neverland on Alderaan. All right, there we have it.
Was that supposed to be Mickey?
No.
What was that again?
That was more of a Goofy.
Yeah. No, Mickey's...
Just turn the recorder off, would you? Just turn it off.
Come on, do it. You can't get your voice that high,
No,
huh?
I can't. I've destroyed my throat. It's about as...
That's so cute.
Kid. It's Mickey Mouse.
No.
That wasn't that bad.
You can't do Mickey. It's so cute. Yes, that was very good.
Yes, and.
Yes, it was good. See, I said that, yes.
All right, I'm going to work.